Every time we talk to the folks at the mission feature team, they've always got a number of interesting irons in the fire. And as they pursue work on the upcoming Alpha 320 and beyond, now is no different. So let's check in with them and get some updates on a few of the new features they're working on, including one improvement to the law system that's a long time coming.
We've released the salvage contracts already, and you buy the contract from a contract broker, and it's just a transaction. You buy the rights to salvage, and you can just salvage at your own leisure. There's no risk. So we wanted to add a bit more variety. The illegal ones, there's a timer with enemies, but once you get rid of them, like, that's it. So we added the cover-up missions.
It's an unlawful mission, and the idea is that Ninetales have committed a crime and want you to cover their tracks.
We know security is going to investigate the crime scene, so you're being hired to scrap all the identifiable markings and paint, and you have a certain time limit.
It's the first mission really to have fail timer. So if you don't take the skin off of this ship in time, the police will turn up, instantly clock it and say, you know, this is Ninetales and you'll have failed your job.
You fail the mission, you don't get paid, you have nothing to show for it. However, if you do successfully manage to completely wipe the ship clean, then you get paid because you rendered them service, which is also going to tie in with reputation, which the current contracts don't implement yet.
If you do want to get greedy, you can still get greedy. You can still start taking parts off. That isn't part of the mission. You can still go aboard, and there's probably going to be, you know, really valuable things aboard.
What I like about this mission is that it's a bit of a precursor to how we want to start evolving the salvage missions as we go. Currently, salvage missions don't have reputation tied into them. You just buy the contract and you're done. But this is going to start our work towards having more reputation scopes. You're actually going to have rewards coming in with finishing these missions. There's actually going to be a reason for doing these in the long run.
One of the things we'd noticed is that even though they're salvage missions, now that you can take cargo off and weapons off, people are actually leaving the skin. They weren't using the salvage beams as we imagined they would. So it's been nice that we can actually make that part of the mission. We can make the feature the mission critical aspect.
With Siege of Orison, we built these new Crusader platforms. You've definitely seen Solanke platform, Brushwood, Heartmoor. And building those, we essentially got all of the building blocks required to expand Crusader even further.
We made Inspiration Park, which is a whole collection of 4 platforms and a whole bunch of buildings. Then we started doing platform infiltration missions on them. The problem with that is that every time a mission location is used, it can't be used by another mission at that point. It's kind of reserved. So if 2 people do that, that's already 6 buildings out of the rotation, which limits a lot of the buildings. So what we decided is to have several more of these platform parks.
We really just wanted one location that would be for Siege. We intended to copy and paste those all over the place in new formations. And that would mean that the Siege Islands would just be for Siege, so that the event and the missions don't have to share the same location. We knew we could then take those islands, reconfigure them, and then just place them all over Crusader.
Using multiple locations around Crusader spreads players out more, which helps the performance. And we kind of wanted to use the planet itself more as well.
The intent was to run Siege for 319, but unfortunately we weren't able to hit that. We ended up in a very awkward position where we had disabled the ability to have the current missions that went out on those islands in 318 available in 319, and we also didn't have the other islands placed. So we just had to turn those missions off completely until we get these new floating islands. So we made the decision to add more islands all around Crusader. It allowed us more freedom, we can tell different stories. The new consignment mission involves the item dispensers that you've seen at Jumptown and in Korea.
The consignment missions are made by Max.
You'll be tasked with going to the UGF to retrieve a mission critical item.
There's several NPCs walking around, either security guards or other NPCs, and several of them will be carrying data pads with a code on them.
By taking the tablets on them, players can see these codes.
You will have to sift through multiple codes to find that item.
Think of it as an Amazon locker where you have a code for your delivery. So you have to look on a tablet, which code holds which set of items. You go to a terminal, enter the code, and then it starts spitting out these objects one by one.
You can even type that code in and like stop it halfway through and then type the code in again and get the other half of the consignment out. The consignments can be found in various places. Like there's a lawful mission where you go and the security occupants of a UGF have been killed by the Ninetails. So there's all these corpses around and you have to go searching through them while fighting off the Ninetails to find these data pads. And, scanning through the data pad and you finding whether it's got the mission critical items that you're looking for, or maybe just some really valuable items for things like Hadanai and Dolavi and things like that you usually only find in like one-handed carryballs we're adding into boxes. So that's a nice little bonus there you'll be able to find. The greedier you are or the longer you take to get this mission done, the mission grows more and more difficult.
We built a new system, a new module, which we're calling the anti-up system. It allows us to spawn increasingly difficult waves of AI that will approach and attack the player while they're at a location.
The AI coming out of it grow more difficult, like through light, heavy, medium armors. The unlawful version of this, you're actually acting as the Ninetails, say. So you go into a UGF that's run by securities and you have to kill the bosses that come out and get the data pad off of those.
I do a lot of bunker missions, so I'm excited to get some more variety in them. Unfortunately, I play more on the lawful side of things, so if it's like a bunker mission where I have to kill security guards, I'll be less inclined to do it. But if it's shoot Ninetails and steal their stuff, then yeah, I'm all for it.
So the reputation ladder is going to be tied to these missions. A lot of players care about the reputation ladder themselves in completing that process, but as an extra incentive to climb it, they will unlock the harder tiers of this mission. And in the process of doing so, there will be more data pads that can drop across the mission. It will be more difficult to stay at the location, the more data pads you want to retrieve, and you can sift your way through the mission critical items and the extra items of the things you want, load them up, get them out of the UGF onto your ship and away. So it's going to be all about how much players want to go for the extra bonus loot, whether it's worth the risk of staying if they are low on ammo or are being overwhelmed, or if they have enough friends to bring to them to the location, which versions of the mission that they do. So I think it's going to be really interesting, and it gives players the opportunity to do missions at their own pace and remain at the location as long as possible as the risk increases.
Since the inception of the loss system, we've had the issue where if someone trespassed on your ship, you would first be given away by the chat system saying that you joined the ship.
Gives your position away straight away. I've always disliked that notification, and it pops up whenever you enter any ship, not just your own. We had that popping up all the time when you went aboard the Javelin, say, in the Fleet Week. So I'm happy to say that we're changing that now so that you'll only see that notification if you are a member of a party of the owner whose ship you're going aboard.
With the new implementation of the trespass system, the chat will no longer give you away, but it's not all benefits for the trespasser, because now the pilot can defend their ship without legal repercussions, which makes the trespasser at risk at all times.
We've basically made the interior of ships a trespass area for anyone who hasn't been invited aboard, and by invited we mean in a party with the owner of a ship. So imagine there are two players, they're in a party together, and then there's a third, trying to sneak aboard. The owner obviously enters a ship as normal, doesn't see anything. The party member, same, steps aboard, doesn't see anything. This third player trying to sneak aboard will see a private property warning and then be trespassing. But, you step off, a few seconds later, that's fine, no one's allowed to shoot you anymore. Could have been a mistake. But if you stay aboard, you're just lawfully be allowed to be attacked by any owner of that ship or their party.
With you having the trespass settings for you and your party on the ship now, it just adds a little bit more of a risk for people who are trying to potentially grief or simply play through that gameplay loop, and they will know that they're trespassing and feel that extra danger when they board somebody else's ship as they are in a monitored area.
We're really excited to give you guys this. It's been a long time coming, we know, but it was just not as simple as the trespassing around areas, which was just a simple action area. This has so many edge cases, as you can imagine. You can actually nest trespassing, so you can have someone else's ship aboard your ship, and you can be in a trespass area, and we have to figure out like which trespass trumps the other trespassers. We also have to build in precautions. So say you're lured aboard a ship, you're invited to a party, and then they kick you from the party. You'll still be allowed to be aboard that ship until you leave. It's just that you won't be allowed to defend that ship lawfully anymore. Also, if you hurt anyone aboard that ship, you will instantly then be trespassing as well, and they'll be able to shoot you back lawfully. It's taken a lot more work than even we originally thought it would, but it's just going to be a real game changer.
It finally gives ship owners the right to defend themselves on their ships and fight back against the pesky pirates we have out there.
One of the things farther ahead that we're working on is barge heist. It's basically taking what we know to be popular and fun in this game, so something like Jump Town, but we're making it have a finite resource and a much more interesting location.
What we're doing is allowing players to buy in information similar to how some of the salvage contracts work. And from there, they get the information about where this cargo barge is, owned by Crusader, and happens to be just in the middle of this heist situation where the Ninetales are taking it over and they're trying to take all this stuff from Crusader.
It's the barge that we use in Siege of Horizon, heavily modified, so there'll be lots of entrances and exits. What's great about using the barge is that we can put it anywhere on Crusader, you know, far away from the landing zones or anything that, you know, may cause performance to dip. So there should be no performance impacts.
We've placed a terminal, a cargo terminal, inside of the container interior of the barge. And when players find this terminal, they can turn it on to open various containers using different kinds of ID codes found in the environment.
Basically, you unlock several cargo containers belonging to different companies, and different companies have different items in there.
So hopefully, players will learn which containers might contain what types of materials based on the brands, right? Crusader Industries is transporting completely different types of loot than maybe, say, ArcCorp is. The
cargo containers open all in different rooms around that location. You're fighting over every single box, trying to hold down like a room. There's no way you can hold down the entire thing unless you hold all the entrances. The location is so like so much of a maze. You'll have people stumbling in and out of it, and lots of people wondering, you know, oh, is this person here to steal a box, or is he just trying to get through to the next room?
What we really wanted to achieve with this is give the players complete freedom of which side to take. You don't take a contract from Crusader asking for help, or from Ninetales wanting you to help them to take something.
In future, when we have reputation-based hostility and you can make friends with these guys, they will be your cover. So I can see plenty of exciting PvP action that's going to come from this mission. So that's a brief look at some of the things the mission team has been working on recently. We can't wait to get in your hands, especially the ship trespass system. That's going to change the game completely. And yeah, I'm really excited about barge heist, so thanks for watching.
Of course, as always, you're going to want to check out the public roadmap at the robertspaceindustries.com website for details on when each aspect of their continuing work gets scheduled for a specific release. And as for what we learned this week, Well, we learned that more platforms means more opportunities for adventure across the gaseous surface of the planet Crusader. That salvage gameplay can be utilized in interesting and creative ways to create new mission types. And that whenever that trespass system comes online, a new day for shipboarding PvP arrives with it. Yeah, it's one we've all been waiting for. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for exploring the process of game development with us, and we'll see you all here next week. Every time we talk to the folks on the mission feature team, they've always got a number of interesting irons in the fire. And they pursue work on the upcoming Alpha 320 and beyond. Updates on a few new features they're working on, including one improvement to the new law system that is going to be a long time coming. You're going to want to check out the public roadmap for robertspaceinitiative.com website. A salvage game that can be utilized in interesting... Go away. I can't work in these conditions.
For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for exploring the process of the game development with us, and we'll see you here next week.